Ubisoft has been embroiled in controversy recently, and they only have themselves to blame, from ripping away content people paid for to paywalling day one content in games like Star Wars Outlaws. But now an alleged internal Ubisoft document declares representation is part of their DNA and that they firmly stand for diversity and inclusion. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or through YouTube memberships. Now, I personally love seeing these companies get exposed because they constantly say that we as consumers and gamers are the problem and that, we're just the ists and the phobes, but this time they only have themselves to blame for their failures. This is a That Park Place article. It says an alleged internal Ubisoft document declares that representation is part of our DNA and that the company firmly stands for diversity and inclusion. This alleged document was shared to social media by YouTuber The Quartering. Now, of course, we do not have an origin for this document. It appears to be something that was sent in an internal memo to employees. We do not know 100%. The Quartering hasn't really said much else about it, but it is a screenshot, so of course take it with a grain of salt. It may not be true, but it definitely sounds like something Ubisoft would send to their employees. The document begins, "First, we want to make it very clear that we do not accept hate, harassment, and other forms of abuse in any way, and we are deeply saddened to see the negativity and hatred currently spreading on our coworkers' personal profiles and on our and our partners' social media platforms." Now, there have been several Ubisoft employees who have said degrading things about gamers and then locking down their social media over the past few weeks because of the plethora of controversies they're currently a part of, and it's no surprise to see them label it all as hate and harassment instead of what it really is, which is criticism. They deem anything negative as harassment these days, which is very unfortunate because a company should really be listening to consumers and they should be trying to understand why so many people are against the products that they're putting out. And when we see people like community managers locking down their social media and not doing their job, which is to give information and get information from consumers, why do they even have a job at that point? I mean, seriously. It continues, "We are proud to represent the diversity and inclusion that exists in society as part of our everyday work. Representation is part of our DNA and will remain that way regardless of external pressure or influences." Nobody's really trying to pressure them into changing their games. What we are trying to do is to get them to understand that the products that they're making are not going to sell. Look at something like Skull and Bones. Nobody complained about diversity or an inclusion with that game. It was just a garbage game that the Ubisoft CEO said gamers were lucky it wasn't worth it, or it wasn't priced at more than $70 because it was worth more than $70, even though of course it went on sale only 2 weeks after launch and it got absolutely destroyed by users on, Metacritic. It's just unfortunate that these people continue to not understand the criticisms we have. Next, the document instructs, if you are exposed to or witness any negative behaviors towards your colleagues online, do not hesitate to reach out to your manager, arcade, HR, or the communications team. What are they going to do? It's not like, as far as we know, they can get social media accounts banned. Are they going to send bots after us? Because all of the Ubisoft games recently have been protected, I guess we'll say, or propped up by bot interaction. So it looks like they're really getting more interaction, positivity between likes and shares when really it's just bot accounts. So what are they going to bot us to death? It says we are here to help. Should a situation escalate to the point where you feel unsafe, please contact the Ubisoft security and risk management team. All you're really doing as an employee is sending these people tweets to look at, and then they go, okay, I mean, I looked, there's nothing we can do, because again, they can't get social media accounts banned, but it's unfortunate, right? Because I know Ubisoft is such a massive name in the industry, but it's because of gamers, because of people like us. We are the reason why. They are the third largest gaming company in Europe, and they are a behemoth of a company now. Why they are a household name, but instead of having general respect for gamers and audiences, they just trash us over and over. I mean, it's continuous. I mean, if you look, though, it's unclear what this document is in response to, but judging by the specific tone that they started out with, that they stand for diversity and inclusion, it makes me believe it is surrounding solely Star Wars Outlaws. But again, they've definitely been mired in controversy. It says back at the end of January, the company's director of subscriptions told Games Industry, one of the things we saw is that gamers are used to, a little bit like DVD, having and owning their games. Oh my gosh, imagine buying a game and wanting to own it. That is so 2012. I mean, it just goes to show how out of touch these people truly are. I get that his job is a director of subscriptions, so he wants to push people towards an all-digital future, and yes, it's inevitable that we will reach it eventually, and that is the direction we are heading in. But by buying physical games, and by not buying Ubisoft games or games from companies that absolutely loathe us and have proven they will rip content that we paid for away from us, we are only slowing down the all-digital future. And that's fine with me. I still buy as many physical games as possible. Then, of course, we have the Crew debacle. It announced back in December in a blog post today the Crew 1, including all its editions and virtual currency packs, will be delisted from online stores, and the servers were shut down, meaning that the game would not be accessible anymore to anyone on any platform, and that finally happened at the end of March. So they are not afraid to rip away content that you paid for, the base game, all of the DLC that you purchased, the add-ons that you bought. They're not refunding anybody for that, which this should be illegal. And we also recently saw Skull and Bones release, and players lampooned it. It has a user score of 3.4 on Metacritic, but if this internal document is real, again, take it with a grain of salt. I think the reason why it went out is because of Star Wars Outlaws. It has been facing so much backlash. The initial story trailer that recently released has over 150,000 dislikes on it. People are not happy with this game. And of course, we also know the community manager has been hiding from the community. She has had numerous posts on her social media accounts disparaging white men. If you're a white dude complaining that diversity being raised is an issue, then people are going to keep raising the lack of diversity in the industry until we see change. The industry is diverse behind the scenes, the people making games, the developers, but also on screen. We have seen so many female protagonists, people of color. These are not bad things, right? This is what they're fighting for. So they should be highlighting the positive changes the industry has seen, not attacking white men because they feel like, oh, these white men just don't get what we're trying to do. You're not winning over any consumers by attacking people. She also has previously written, "Don't tell me gender isn't an issue in the games industry when you are a white male. Diversity in general is an issue in the industry. The industry has massively changed in a few short years, and that is what people like her should be praising. But instead of allowing people to simply talk about what is going on with all of these games and all of the controversies that Ubisoft is a part of, community managers and developers are locking down their social media, protecting their Twitter/X accounts, and they just don't understand why we are criticizing their content. When we look at Star Wars Outlaws, there is day one paywalled content behind the $110 and $130 versions of the game. We also, of course, have, the Fugly controversy where they had an absolutely gorgeous model for K-Vest, and they butchered her face when they put her into the game. And it's just so unfortunate to see all of these situations happen. I know there's so many people out there who still do generally like Ubisoft and hope that they can change, but at this point, I think they are too far gone. And if this internal memo is real and this internal document is real, declaring representation as part of their DNA, I definitely think if there's any other memos like this that are leaked, they are going to face a hell of a lot more controversy. And ultimately, I do think that Star Wars Outlaws is already going to lose out on a massive amount of sales. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.